Hello everyone, and just recently we've got another update for episode 78, which as you know, is about to come out pretty soon. Boom already spoiled it to us about a week ago how he expects to deliver the new episode either mid-April or by the end of this month. So yeah, our suffering of endless waiting is almost over by this point. And now Boom got one more spoiler for us which actually revealed something pretty much insane. And he also shared more specific details about the upcoming episode. And in this video, I'll tell you all the new juicy stuff I just found out. What character is about to come back to ISOTOILET series, and why you should be really excited about it. What unexpected plot turn we will see very soon. And what if I'll tell you that it's going to be something you wouldn't be able to predict before at all. So if you want to know about all the new hot stuff in ISOTOILET universe, then get your tea and snacks ready, prepare to watch this video to the end, and be sure to also give this video a like and subscribe to my channel where I make a lot of ISOTOILET analyzing content while you are waiting for the next episode to get released. Okay, so if you are subscribed now, let's continue. So let's start with the best part first. Just yesterday, an administrator of the official Boom's Discord channel suddenly broke his silence and posted this one leak featuring a vaguely familiar character. But besides that, he also announced something pretty important about an episode. In his dialogue with Ibio75, he revealed that episode 78 will be lasting 13 minutes exactly, and it's the information that came to him from Boom himself. But even if he wouldn't mention this detail, I'd still guess this approximate length, because later when Boom dropped a vast amount of spoilers on us, he also mentioned how the episode would be about 10 or 11 minutes long. So let us say that we just got even more precise timing now, but we still guessed something like this earlier. Still good to know stuff like this for sure, though. Okay, and now let's get to the most exciting part of this leak. And by this, I mean the picture itself. And yeah, sure, contrary to the 7 leaks we've gotten earlier, this one is made in the best traditions of Boom's style again. And I mean the crazy grainy quality of this image where it's very difficult to discern what is even being depicted here. Back to the classics, I guess. But even despite that, this spoiler already managed to birth lots of controversies around itself, which is pretty crazy to me. So what's the whole fuss about? Well, basically, ISOTOILET fans got divided into 2 groups while discussing this picture, and what the hell can be possibly depicted on it. The first major part of people keep stating that they see some kind of Astro toilet with some apparent upgrades on it, or even something like Astro Strider, which would be pretty damn interesting to see, given that we haven't seen such a creature in Astro Fleet. We've already seen similar technologies from the Alliance side, though, and both cameramen and speakermen have their own respectful Striders that got upgraded even more in the latest episodes. We could also remember ISOTOILET Striders, although to be honest, they haven't been featured in the series for a while as an independent battle participants. And of course, we are still waiting for the TV men's race to come up with their own Striders too, as well as some other significant technological upgrades. Okay, and now it seems like we're adding Astro toilets to the lists for new important upgrades too. And it is pretty likely that in case the first option of ISOTOILET fans is true, and it is really an Astro Strider who is being depicted in this image, then Astro Fleet actually outdid TV men and came up with their Striders first. And in such case, I wonder what this Astro Strider would be capable of. Is he more powerful than camera and speaker Striders altogether? And what kinds of special abilities can he have? And what we can kind of see in this picture is that this creature is equipped with some sort of protective head hat the sunlight shines on. And it's also apparent that he has a core in the lower part of his body. And it's not pretty clear to me, but it also might look as if this guy has some sort of glasses above his helmet. Or maybe it is his manic eyes with some kind of glow in them. In any case, the quality doesn't really allow me to say much about his appearance. So let's take what we can have here. He obviously has a spider set of mechanical legs too, and stands either on a rock or some roof here too. And now let's dive deeper into all that. Because if this really is an Astro Strider we're looking at, then Boom might be setting us up for one big surprise in the upcoming episode. So imagine this. While the Alliance, or speakermen in particular, have been busy enhancing their armada and tuning their tech, the Astro Fleet was silently building something massive behind the scenes too. And now they just show up with a fully operational Astro Strider that nobody saw coming. So from what little we can see in this image, this Strider looks bulkier than both the camera and speaker variants. and possibly even more armored and with better defensive system. It is also possible that he could be majorly powered up by his orange core that we could see on his body, which could significantly boost him up in general. It is also possible that he might have some special type of a core, but once again, I cannot be sure about it due to the poor picture's quality. In any case, we could be looking at a machine that's not only ridiculously strong physically, but also has some other special abilities too, because why the heck not? Maybe it will be able to manipulate gravitational fields or even warp short distances in battle, which obviously would overpower the Alliance's Striders, unless they would come up with some upgrades for them too. So yeah, I expect quite a lot from this guy, because why would Boom choose to show him as a single spoiler? So either this bad boy has something special about him and his abilities, or maybe ISOTOILET fans are wrong. And it's not an Astro Toilet or Strider at all, but someone much more significant. And his appearance means something really special for the series in general. Do you wonder who I'm talking about, though? Or maybe you already figured it out on your own? Okay, well, let's not keep this mystery for too long. So the theory about the Astro Strider was just one of the variants suggested by Skibidi fans, because what the other half of them saw is that this silhouette could actually belong not to an Astro Toilet at all, but to our long-forgotten fella. And I'm talking about no other but Skibidi Scientist. Yeah, this exact character who was literally demolished by our trio of Titans in episode 70 after an unsuccessful attempt to escape the bunker, and whose giant puppet was later used both by the Alliance and G-Man's squad member 2. But how can he be back? And why now exactly? Well, first of all, let's remember what happened to Skibidi Scientist's body after his destruction in episode 70. Because the interesting thing is that Boom never showed it to us directly what occurred to it after the major plot reveal. The scientist is finally defeated. But the most logical suggestion would be that his original body would be later taken into one of the Alliance's laboratories or special hidden facilities where the most important scientific experiments would occur. I believe that the very same thing could also happen to the bodies of deceased agents, even those who cannot be repaired anymore. Okay, but what if the Alliance could actually have some plans about the scientists' revival for their own gain? But of course, this organization authorities would keep this plan secret from the Titans, or from the friends of Plungerman, such as Camera Woman, not to trigger them way too much. Or there is another possibility too. It is possible that Skibidi Scientist could be revived with the help of either G-Man, who plays on the Alliance's side now anyway, or... okay, what the hell, sure. But what about the secret agent too? After all, he was keeping a direct contact with Skibidi Scientist until the very end. Although on the other hand, the secret agent's involvement wouldn't make much sense honestly, given that he was the one that wanted Scientist to be dead actually. But maybe it's more complicated than just that? And maybe the secret agent wanted to get Skibidi Scientist into his Windows team of agents just like Plunger Man? And oh boy, now we're really entering the juicy territory of the Skibidi conspiracy levels. First of all, sure, Boom never explicitly showed us what happened to Skibidi Scientist's body after his defeat in episode 70. We saw him being demolished by the Titans and his completely ruined body, but the actual aftermath? Total mystery. That alone tells us Boom might be saving Scientist for a later twist, especially knowing his usual style of hiding crucial plot developments until the most dramatic moment. And the very same thing can be applied to Titan Cameraman too, by the way. Now, thinking logically, if the Alliance is as smart and resourceful as they've been shown to be, then they definitely would have collected the remains of the scientist. Whether it was just a head, fragments of his tech-enhanced body, or even traces of his neural data, it would make complete sense for them to bring it into one of their off-the-record high-security labs. Probably the same kind of place where Titan Cameraman and Plungerman received their enhancements in earlier episodes. And considering how important the scientist was, not only as a threat, but as someone who clearly had advanced knowledge of both Skibidi and Astro Tech, his body clearly could be the key to unlocking new upgrades, or maybe even developing entirely new technologies. But here's where things get spicy. What if the Alliance is planning to reprogram and rebuild him, and turn into something that could serve their side? Think about it. The Alliance has been increasingly desperate lately, especially with the Astro Toilets gaining the upper hand and TV Men losing the only Titan the Alliance had, not counting the damaged Titan Speaker Man. So reviving the scientist and wiping or rewriting his memory might be seen as a necessary thing to do, and it's possible that even G-Man could agree to this. And if they do go this route, there's a high chance they'll try to keep this plan under wraps. Because imagine how would any of the Titans or even Camera Woman would react if they found out their worst enemy was back from the dead and chilling in the Alliance's basement. That would definitely break some trust and maybe even cause a mini rebellion within the Alliance ranks. Now about G-Man. It could actually be possible that he might be behind the whole revival thing of his old comrade. We know he's still not fully transparent, especially after the scenes from Season 25, and he always seems to know more than he lets on. Considering his high status and mysterious access to classified Alliance operations, he could absolutely be the one pulling the strings behind this secret revival. He might see the value in turning the scientist into a tool, for example. Why not? Maybe not even for battle directly, but for developing countermeasures against the evolving Astro tech, which seems to be getting out of control. But if we'll talk about the secret agent, then we'll be getting into double agent mind games. It's true that he was in direct contact with the scientist up to the very end, and yeah, he did want him dead after all. But what if it wasn't just to eliminate him, but to capture him in a weakened state? Maybe the secret agent didn't trust the scientist's loyalties anymore, or saw him as a threat. So he orchestrated the defeat as a cover to bring the scientist in secretly, and try to recruit or recondition him as a brainwashed apprentice. Like how Plungerman was once an independent agent who later joined the Windows 95 team. Could it be that the secret agent saw similar potential in the scientist, if only he could be reprogrammed or swayed? Or here's an even crazier twist. What if there's some sort of clone of Skibidi scientist? I know, the clones theory is way too overdone, but let's just imagine that for a second. Maybe the body Boom showed getting destroyed wasn't the real one at all, but just a decoy or one of several prototypes. Boom has already dabbled in identity confusion, lookalikes, and fake-outs before, so it wouldn't be that far-fetched, you know? And in that case, a revival wouldn't even be needed because it would turn out that the scientist never really left. So to wrap this all up, yes, the scientist's body was probably taken by the Alliance and is being stored or experimented on somewhere. And yes, there's a strong chance of a secret revival, either as a controlled weapon or a reprogrammed ally. G-Man is the most likely mastermind behind it if it's happening. But the secret agent may have had more complex plans all along. Maybe he didn't want the scientist dead, but out of the way until he could be repurposed. And finally, there's always the possibility that the Skibidi scientist story isn't over, and he might return in a whole new form we haven't seen before. Maybe not as an enemy, but as a complete wild card. And if Boom really drops this in episode 78 or soon after, guys, it's going to shake the whole fandom. And what do you guys think about all of this? And are you still excited for episode 78 as ever? And that was all for today. Write in the comments what you personally think about what I just said. And be sure to also subscribe to my channel not to miss my new videos to keep yourselves updated while you are waiting for episode 78 to get released. And that was me, ISOTOILET. See ya!